Wait a moment for it to update so I can see chat. Because God forbid the bloody app, update when I start. There we go. All right. So, this is mainly for the people's fleet. However, others may use this. It's not perfect. However, it's about as good as I could get it for budget plasma. Alright, so first we have the Fleet Nova. The reason for this is it's a good solid ship. It also has pilot maneuvers, and which means it has the pilot primary specialization. It's fast, maneuverable, and if you don't want to buy the C-Store variant, which I do recommend doing for the trait, which would be the only actual monetary purchase you would do for this build, you could just get it for 5 fleet ship modules from your fleet, which you can get for you can get 1 for each tier 6 reputation. You also can get them for EC on the exchange. So you can get a pretty good ship and either only have to pay $30 and a screw off Ferengi, and 1 fleet ship module where you can skip getting the actual C-Store variant and just get the fleet variant. However, as I said, I do recommend getting the C-Store variant first, mainly because of the trait, which I will get into later. Now, we have the shield. It's from the Discovery Reputation. That, coupled with the Warp Core, will give you 120% hull regen. Hull regenerated skills with maximum hull is a lie. It's flat 120%. Once again, you get these both from Reputation, Discovery. Next, we have the Jem'Hadar Deflector Array. If you're a Jem'Hadar captain, you get this automatically. If not, there's a mission you can do in the Gamma Arc. Off the top of my head, I do not remember which mission. However, this will help a lot against seeing Exodus. Exodus is where they use a trait called Exodus Actoprobat. It gives them a bunch of stealth when they use intel abilities. Coupled with, say, Intel Team and high aux power, it can make them near impossible to see unless you're building specifically to counter it, which is where this comes in. As you can see, it gives you stealth detection and starship perception, both of which are good for seeing through Exodus. As this is a scout ship, it comes with a secondary deflector instead of a heavy weapon, or experimental weapon, excuse me. I use the inhibiting secondary deflector. When you use a control ability, science control ability, excuse me, after 4 seconds, so the effective target, it deals radiation damage with 50% shield pen. Obviously, it's not going to be as high as on a TAC captain as a psi, if you're, say, using EPG, but still a nice little chunk of damage. Next we have the engines from the competitive reputation. They activate upon using a heal or shield heal bridge officer ability. They give you flight speed and turn rate. As you can see, it's quite the sizable boost. And yes, I'm about to hit that bitch. The reason you want the ones based on heal or shield heal is you can choose when they go off. And you also can proc them more often. If you say were to choose the firing cycle, say your scatter volley would go off, beam overload. You probably don't want to be rocketing past your target when you're trying to shoot it. Now, for the tactical consoles, you can get these from the colony, your fleet colony. They don't cost many fleet credits, they're much dilithium. IT6X to this. They give these tokens out periodically. You can also get them off the exchange for EC. I have 4 of them. Plasma energy weapon damage. Now the thing about these, when you activate firing modes for energy weapons, you get hull healing and shield regeneration. They do stack. The more of them you have, the more chances they go off. Next we have the Tachyon detection field. You get this from, I believe, Tier 3 Research Science Vessel. It might be the Tier 4. You can get the ship for dilithium from the shipyard on, say, ESD or Kronos, if you're a filthy Klingon. It gives you perception, and when you click it, you get stealth sight and more perception. This will also help you see through Exodus. It has a 1-minute recharge, and it's up for 30 seconds. So, the console, when you click it, the recharge starts automatically. So what that means is you're only going to have it in a down state for 30 seconds, not a minute. Next we have the Alachi Rift Jump from the Alachi Kalash frigate, an event ship. If you don't have the Kalash, there is a console you can get off the exchange. Fluidic phase decoupler, it does the same thing, except you don't get the passive bonuses. Well, mostly the same thing. It'll phase you out and make you invulnerable. So, what this is for is it'll get you out of psi abilities or that pesky ice console or the console off the Parliament. Ice Parliament console cannot be control broken normally. You cannot. You need some sort of escape like this to get out of them. We have the piezoelectric focuser from the Lucari reputation. Coupled with the piezo beam array, which I'll get to in a bit. As you can see, it gives you a bit more plasma damage. Hull image refractors. Incoming heals exceeding max hull will instead give you temporary hit points. This will help quite a bit with survivability. Also, if you click it, after 3 seconds, it'll cloak you and heal 100% of your hull capacity. Your engines will be offline, and so will your shields. So be careful using that. Next, because this is a budget build and trying to avoid lockbox and C-store as much as possible, Now, I would recommend at least one lockbox ship, and that would be the Atlas for the DPRM. It gives you damage resistance, energy damage. Once you click it for 20 seconds, 40% bonus damage if you're above 80% hull. You also get 100 bonus damage resistance and 500% hull regen. However, if you cannot get that, we have the Regenerative Integrity Field, increases your hull healing. Also, the less HP you have, the higher a hull heal will give you. And 100% of your directed energy damage will be returned as healing for 10 seconds, 5 times a second. With a maximum of, well, you can see it there. So once again, I would recommend getting the DPRM. You can buy the ship off the exchange for EC, or say you have a fleet mate or know someone who has the box with it in it. You can try to negotiate a lower price than the exchange with them. It will be expensive. Next, for some damage resistance and a little bit extra hull capacity, we have the Paxterburnium alloy. As you can see, I don't have this maxed out quite yet, but it still does give a lot of energy damage resistance and a nice chunk of hull capacity. You get this from the Discovery Reputation store. Does cost you a decent chunk of dill, but I would still recommend you get it. Next, we have the Hostile Acquisition. Once again, this is something you can get off the exchange. It'll help with your accuracy. And when you click it, it'll hold your target for 5 seconds, reduce their damage resistance, damage, and flight speed. It'll also turn off any consoles they happen to have active, and keep them from activating anything while it's on them. Next, we have the Enhanced Induction Coils. This comes off a Tier 1 ship, the Tier 1 Bird of Prey. You can get it for a tiny little bit of dill. Also, my friend, Andre Tiger, also known as Daboy Tiggs in game, says with the current Klingon event, it comes with the free Tier 6 Bird of Prey. As you can see, it repairs disabled weapons, engine, and auxiliary, and gives you a sizable chunk of weapon, engine, and aux power setting, and a bit of maximum weapon, engine, and aux power setting for 30 seconds. It also makes you immune to offline. Most offlines. Things like the Parliament and Ice will still go through that. As far as weapons, we have Plasmatic Biomatter dual beam banks. Honestly, pick what plasma you have, what's easiest for you to get. We have an Ultimate Plasma. Then we have the Piezo Plasma from the Lucaria Reputation. Now, what this does is the Advanced Piezo Plasma has a bit of a hidden proc that's not in the description called Technical Overload. Your first shot from it when using Beam Overload will do a massive electrical damage hit, in addition to the Beam Overload damage. There's times you can damn near one-shot someone with that. Since we're trying to avoid using Lobby, I should probably switch those off. We have the Omnidirectional Plasma. Similarly, plasma, you can use whatever plasma omni you have. If you don't have an omni at the moment, just use another plasma beam, say like the corrosive plasma or whatever you happen to have. Once again, whatever's easiest for you to get. Crew stations. I'm a Romulan alien, so I have all superior Romulan operatives. If you're not, you can get to, you can get, since this is only using one tactical, you can get a superior Romulan operative tactical officer from your fleet embassy. So, since we're on the tactical officer, I have tactical team, scatter volley, and beam overload. Though, since we're not using preferential targeting, you can stick a copy of Team Aside there. Preferential targeting, get off a Lobby ship, the NX. For the Lieutenant Commander Universal, I put an engineer there. Immersive Fire engines, auxiliary to dampener, so I'll tell you why we use that in a bit once we get the duty officers. And reverse shield polarity 2. Lieutenant Universal, we have science with tractor beam and scramble sensors. For the Ensign Universal, we have another engineer for engineering team. And for the last, the Commander Science Pilot, we have a science team, pilot team 2, Lambda 3. Now what this does is it'll give you a 50 accuracy rating when firing your energy weapons for 15 seconds, 500 perception, which will also help see through Exodus, and to the enemy's hit, it'll lower their accuracy and perception. Next we have Photonic Officer 3. Photonic Officer will help with your cooldown reduction. As far as traits go, we have harrying maneuvers from the Bajoran Interceptor event ship. Honored Dead. You're a Fed, you can get this off the exchange for about 25 mil. Rhythmic Rumble. This is also from an event ship. The Rizian Corvette. Superior Pedal to the Metal. This will give you a very nice chunk of damage. If you don't have, I think it was the Temporal Recruit, which gives it the superior version, you'll have the improved version, which will, instead of a 3% all damage bonus, which will stack up to 30% all damage, bonus damage, you'll have 2% for 20%. That is still a very nice chunk of extra damage. We have Synthetic Good Fortune, which is off the C-Store variant of this ship. I said I would get to this, earlier I said I would get to this. Now what this does, when you use a control or pilot bridge officer ability, you get stacking crit chance and control expertise. You get 5 control expertise, stacks 40 times, so do the math there. You also get 0.5% crit chance each time you activate, up to 40 times. It lasts 5 minutes, I believe, and it does add a new stack, every 5 minutes, so you can constantly keep the extra 20 crit chance. Finally, we have invasive maneuvers from the Yalachi Kulash frigate. This will also help break controls and that pesky ice in Parliament console. Instead of a regular evasive maneuver, it does this.
Warning, ship is under attack.
As you can see, it phases you in and out. While you're phased out, you also cannot be shot. Now, as far as space reputation, we have Tyler's Duality from the Discovery reputation. This will give you a crit chance based on your hull capacity. As you can see right now with this ship, I have 4.6% crit chance. We have Precision. I think that's from Romulan. Yep. It's another 5% crit chance. From Gamma Reputation, we have Magnified Firepower. Gives you bonus damage. We have Advanced Hull Reinforcement and Targeting Systems. Those are from Dyson. Now, space traits. If you really need the accuracy, you can use Accurate. The regular version will give you 10. I have Unconventional Systems, because I do have some control abilities. Or at least one, or yeah, two of them, excuse me. So what that does is every time you use a control bridge officer ability, it'll reduce the recharge time of universal consoles by 7%, which means you can get, say, your regenerative integrity field, your induction coils, tachyon detection field, whatever, back a bit faster. Next we have pseudo submission. Once again, you can get these all off the exchange, or they come with, minus this one, which is from engineering tier 15 research and development. So pseudo submission, when using a hull heal on yourself, you placate anyone targeting you within 10 km once every 15 seconds, fresh from R&R. Your team bridge officer abilities like engineering team, tech team, science team, and if you're using intel, like a horrible, horrible person, intel team, their minimum cooldowns are reduced by 5 seconds. The first control effect applied to the ship is automatically cleaned off and gains 3 seconds of control immunity. This would be nice if it didn't have a massive 45-second recharge lockout. Give your all. This is the one you get from engineering R&D. When you use an engineering bridge officer ability, you dodge 20% of all incoming damage for 3 seconds. So basically, just consider 20% of the damage incoming to not exist. I'm a tactical, so I have a good day to die. Go down fighting can be used at any point. Self-modulating fire. Critical hits, your energy weapons and projectiles gain 50% shield penetration for 10 seconds. Can trigger once every 45 seconds. Using beams, so superior beam training. Bulkhead technician, extra hull, capacity. Fragment of AI tech. That's extra energy weapon damage based on your control expertise, the maximum of 30, and it gives you a bit of extra control expertise. Wave Intelligence Agent Attaché. When you hit an enemy with the critical, weapon critical, restores 2% of your captain ability recharge, like your attack pattern alpha or your tactical fleet, or their sire engineer equivalents. Then we have Boingler. This does cost Lobby, but you can also get it off the exchange. So it is on here. So what this does, you have a 17.5% chance to basically reset all your other bridge officer abilities to their minimum cooldown. So you see how I used beam overload? Started at a cooldown and then just dropped. You see again there? Engineering team and Psi team just had a massive cooldown drop. That's Boimler going off. The reason for the Photonic 3 is to cover for the time it's not, activating. Now for space skills. I have battery expertise. Increases duration of battery and device effects by 100%. Subsystem repair. Engine subsystem power. You don't have to pick that. You can pick shields if you want. Weapon subsystem power. Once again, that's up to you. We have sector space travel speed. Starship stealth. Now, considering, in this case, it's not a stealth ship. You can choose shield capacity. The reason I have Starship stealth is occasionally I do fly ships with cloak. Now we have Starship perception. So this will help against Exodus as well. It'll double the benefit of, double the stealth detection you get from your auxiliary power, subsystem power. Really. One of these days I'll learn how to speak. Next we have hangar weaponry, because who in their right mind would ever pick threat control? Next, it doesn't matter what you pick here. Alright, so we have 2 in hull restoration, 3 in capacity, 2 in shield restoration and capacity, 3 in energy weapon training. We have 2 in targeting expertise. Don't bother with defense. Everyone has such high accuracy. They're just going to go through whatever defense you have anyway. We have improved terrain expertise. Improved control expertise. Advanced impulse expertise. This will help your flight speed and turn rate. We have energized hull plating and ablative hull plating. This will help your resistances. We have improved shield hardness. Most people will pick advanced. I don't, because it's only a little, a bonus of 3%. I figure that point can be best spent elsewhere. If you want to pick it, you can go ahead. We have improved weapon amplification and specialization. These will improve your crit chance and severity. Be advised, it will not show up on your Starship's stat page, but it is there. We have improved hull penetration, long-range targeting sensors. It reduces the penalty you get for firing from a distance. Offensive and defensive subsystem tuning are maxed out, as well as warp core potential. And then we have shield absorption, and that's it for that. Now my specializations. I am running pilot primary, strategist secondary. If you want, you can run miracle worker, primary and strategist secondary. That's entirely up to you. It's personal preference for pilot on my end. Duty officers. Now, the purple versions of these are expensive. You can get away with the blue. Say, for example, the Matter Antimatter Specialist, the purple version, give you the bonus for 23 seconds. The blue is 21, I believe. So, whole 2 seconds. The blue versions are also cheap, generally, costing, say, a few mil, or you can get them from a fleet mate. should they have them. So this will buff your Ox to Damp by giving you extra energy damage resistance when you activate it. Next we have Energy Weapon Officer. The first shot with Beam Overload has a 30% chance to increase target's bleed through. The purple version is 35%. The blue version is 30%. Not much of a difference. So you'll be running three of those. I picked a blue one up for 4 mil earlier, so Fabrication Engineer. Purples are extremely expensive. This one gives you 8 seconds extra duration on your RSP. A blue will give you 6 seconds. They're also a lot cheaper. You can upgrade to purple at any point. Next we have the Mercy Khan hologram. Get a very rare Phoenix token. Get this guy. When you use Emerge Powered Engines, after you've used evasive maneuvers, it'll automatically reset your evasive maneuvers, so you can use it again immediately. Ignore these. Pretend these are the extra 2 emergency weapon officers, because these are expensive, more expensive than ships can be. So instead of these 2, you'll have 2 more energy weapon officers. Now, as far as activation setup, I have my Beam Overload on my hotbar. Your chemosite will be whenever possible. The reason for Scatter Volley here, even though I don't use cannons, going back to the preferential targeting from the NX, from the Lobby store. So what that does, when you use Fire at Will or Cannon Scatter Volley, you get 100% damage to Beam Overload or Rapid Fire for 30 seconds. That is a very nice chunk of damage. So if you can pick up that ship as well, I would recommend it. We have Tactical Team. I have it set to go off when you're affected by tactical debuffs. Lambda 3 is whenever possible. And I have Pilot Team 2 whenever possible. Now I have Ox to Damp whenever possible. Merge Part Engines, I have that manual. Engineering Team is on my hotbar, and Reverse Shield Polarity is when my shield strength is less than or equal to 50%. Now I have my Science Team on my hotbar. Photonic 3 whenever possible. Scramble Sensors whenever possible. Tractor Beam when target's health is greater than or equal to 50%. Now, I'm a bit unusual. I'm going to go to fighting instead of my evasive maneuvers is on my hotbar. You can put evasive maneuvers in there if you please. Quantum Singularity from Romulan Rep Tier 5 is 50% health. I'll also click that manually if I feel like it. As you can see, my Alpha and Fire Remark are manual. I recommend doing that, getting used to it. So you can choose when they go off. Also, something you're going to want to do when you, say, enter PvP, pop Threatening Stance. It increases threat generation. You're fighting players. It also gives a 20% chance every time you're damaged to increase your maximum hull by 5% for 60 seconds. Up to 10 times. so that will make your ship tougher. Forceful inspection, I have that. Target's health is greater than or equal to 50%. You can manual that if you want. Tachyon detection is whenever possible. Same for enhanced induction. That's the shield capacitor whenever my shields are offline. Regenerative integrity field is on the hotbar. And this is a Gekli. Yes, you can fight while flying as a Gekli. I hate how loadouts are broken. If you want to see my full build and how close this is to it, swap the DPRM in, swap the Ultimate Swarm Processor from the Lobby store in. That'll give you crit chance and accuracy. Swap this Omni for the Ultimate Plasma Omni from the Lobby store. And this for the Torpedo from the Lobby. So the 3-piece of this will give you a clicky you can use every 2 minutes. That'll increase your weapon fire rate by 100% for 12 seconds. Also, you don't need to use dual beam banks. I'm the odd one in doing that. Probably be easier for you to use single beams. Push that back. As far as traits, this will be Super Weapon Ingenuity, increases the duration of beam overload by 5 seconds. That's from the Lobby ship, the Etolith. And then I switch this to Pref targeting. And that's the difference between the free and the non. Also, if you didn't buy the ship, forgot to mention this. Swap these traits out for what you happen to have. I don't know what you have, so best judgment there. But I would recommend, at the very least, if you can only get one ship, C-store wise, get this one. Alright, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.